So this video will be my non-spoiler review for Spider-Man No Way Home. You have my absolute word that I will not reference any specifics in this movie besides what has already been shown in trailers and such. I will not actually say any important plot details or surprises they had in store. So if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to like and subscribe for future Marvel content. I definitely had beefs with this movie, right? Some I'll talk about, some I won't talk about. Something that kind of surprised me, but it made sense, is that the very beginning of this movie is very fast-paced. This movie is kind of cram-packed. It's kind of like Avengers Endgame with how much just raw story they have to tell. And except obviously it doesn't have nearly as much time as Avengers Endgame, so it has to do it in a shorter amount of time. So I would say maybe first 20, maybe 30 minutes of the movie feels very fast-paced. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that it being as fast-paced as it was is a bad thing. It is kind of just something that caught me by surprise. Now, the next thing I'll talk about is the action. So the action in this, I mean, it's real brawlic, it's real nitty-gritty. I mean, Tom Holland had said before the movie even came out that it was going to be like, not necessarily a different type of style action that we've seen before with Spider-Man, but just we're used to more web-type combat with his version of Spider-Man. And he even said before, it's like, no, there's a lot more hand-to-hand combat in this one, and he was absolutely right. I mean, the fight scenes were pretty incredible. All of the villains in this movie are fantastic. You know, Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe. I mean, he is like Willem Dafoe is just Willem Dafoe. You know, I highly doubt anyone out there suspected that Willem Dafoe was gonna suck in this movie. But if in case you thought Willem Dafoe was gonna suck, he absolutely does not. He crushes this shit. Seeing all of the villains again in general, I mean, they all did so incredibly good, and it's honestly one of those things where it's like, even a lot of the stuff that we've seen in the trailers, like, you know, I feel like they showed, I mean, before I saw the movie, I should say, I felt like they showed a lot of the Doc Ock bridge fight, but in the actual movie, I feel like there was more exposition than let on, so there's a lot more surprises to be had with even those individual scenes that they've already been kind of showing off in the movie. Again, I have minor beefs with the movie. This movie is very good. I have minor beefs, but honestly, the minor beefs that are even really an issue, I can't really talk about because, you know, this is a non-spoilery review. I will say it is very hard for a Marvel movie, to be better than Infinity War and Endgame, in my opinion. And Infinity War and Endgame for me is number 1 and number 2, just period. But this movie does come very close. This movie is very good. I am very comfortable with calling this movie my number 3. I mean, Tom Holland absolutely kills it in this movie too. Just everybody in this movie just absolutely kills it. I would definitely say this is the best Spider-Man movie of all time, period. I am very interested just to see where the MCU goes with this character. I have some speculations as to what they were potentially trying to do, obviously, that I won't talk about. Obviously, without going into specifics, if you are watching this non-spoilery review before you see this movie, there are 2 post-credit scenes, so make sure you stay for, obviously, the first one, and then stay all the way through the credits for the second one as well. But overall, as far as non-spoilery stuff goes, I think outside of the movie, the beginning of the movie moving very fast, I mean, this movie was very good. This movie was very good. I would give it a 9 out of 10 very easily. You know, whatever you're expecting going into this movie, that's probably what you're just going to expect. You know what I mean? Like, this movie is very good. That's about wraps it up for this non-spoilery review. I give it about a 9 out of 10. Comment down below in a non-spoilery fashion. You know, if anybody comments on this, let's please keep it clean for people who potentially haven't seen the movie yet. Comment down below what you would give it and how you kind of compare it to the other Spider-Man movies. I truthfully believe that this is the king of Spider-Man movies, and if we're comparing them to other Marvel movies in general, I mean, this ranks very, very high up there for me. But I appreciate you guys for watching the video.